All righty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Somewhere. What do we got going on today? New dawn in America. Mr. Trump was talking about yesterday. Mr. Trudeau went to Mar-a-Lago in Florida. I guess you could call it the Southern White House at this point. And, Trudeau was saying, we can't afford tariffs. $80 billion in tariffs. And he said, well, maybe you shouldn't be charging so much in tariffs to us. And he said, our economy will collapse. And Mr. Trump said, well, maybe you'll become the 51st state of America. Obviously, that was a joke because that would be even more expensive and more liberal voters, and we don't want those to begin with. But, unconstitutional voters, I mean, people who've been programmed to believe socialism, or like what I like to call socialism, is cyanide, social Marxists basically destroy the world constantly. The evidence lays everywhere. Capitalism is the best tool compared to socialism or social Marxism. And that's why we do this webinar. We're talking about capitalism. We're watching currencies trade. We're watching economic data. We're watching production, creativity, advanced concepts of, oh, shoot. Oh, no. I just forgot a phone call. Oh, no. Oh, where is it at? Let me just take care of this. Sorry about that. But anyhow, what we're looking at is an advanced way, or let's put it this way, a productive way to live and work every day. That's what it really comes down to. I mean, that's the problem, is that they try. We're looking at France getting ready to collapse. Because they illegally raised their or they passed a tax bill. That's what it really comes down to. They passed a tax bill. I got up at 6:15, 6:30. I've been dancing, and I'm on now. I'll talk to you afterwards. Bye-bye, kiddo.
Okay,
son. So, what it really comes down to is that, a lot of these people are starting to go to Mar-a-Lago in Florida, where Trump has his hotel and home, and it's a small island about, I don't know, 50 is it 50 meters off the mainland? There's a little bridge, the teeny weeny little bridge. It's right there. It's a causeway. It's like a little river. It's not even a big river. You could swim across it in a matter of seconds. So, he has a big hotel there, and it's a golf course or a couple golf courses, and it's your classic vacation spot. And then somewhere along in there, he has a private home, and people were coming to him. And yesterday, Trudeau came down to him. I understand that Joe Biden, I like to call him Jojo the monkey, our president now, Notre Dame is going to be reopened, I guess. Some type of dedication in France, and Joe's not going. Our president is not showing up, but Mr. Trump is. He's going to show up instead, as a citizen and a former president. And so, that's the type of environment we have going on here. We have a very irresponsible government for the last 4 years. All they do is put tariffs and taxes in their own way on the population. And Mr. Trump is the opposite. He believes in free markets, free people, and free information. And what I mean by free information, information free to the society, without someone saying, oh, no, they can't hear that. They can't see that. They're not allowed. Just like the French government, passing a budget illegally, and now the government will collapse tomorrow if they don't rescind it and do the legal process. That's what's the problem with the left. The left loves to be the king. They must be the king. They must be the they can tell what business should work and what business shouldn't work. What currency is the best currency? And what currency is the worst currency? And if they have that much knowledge, why aren't they traders like us? Where you and I are trying to make money every day by making those decisions. Instead, they work for the government. And they try to tell you what's right. And what do we have? We have taxes. They take your equity away from you from the work that you do. They do it here. And in our country, we're not happy about taxes. Matter of fact, it's only our social Marxists, like Woodrow Wilson, the president in 1912, that started this stuff, in the sense of he thought socialism was a wonderful thing. He was an academic. He was governor of New Jersey, and at the same time, before that, he was head of Princeton University, and he was a very strong academic in the idea that, he wanted some type of messiah society or some form, that government was the lead, not the spiritual. All I want is free markets, free people. And I don't want some government person trying to tell me. I don't need a duke or a duchess or a king or a queen or a lord or, something like that telling me, or a lady telling me how to live my life. I want the markets. I want science. I want information. That's what I want. So you can see here today, we're looking at the dollar index. Dollar index has got two green dots. It's still firm. We keep on saying they're just dead cat bounces, but look at that. The weekly has backed off. It's still sitting down in there today like yesterday. It's coming back up towards the zero line a little bit more compared to yesterday, but it's still showing some weakness. I think it's just some profit taking. There's a lot of opportunity to take profits. Remember, I remind traders all the time, you have a position on, you're making money, and then you don't take any of it off. If you don't take some of it off, the next time you're taking it off is when you're losing money. The idea is to make money and keep it. And the false concept of let your profits run is so misunderstood. Let your profits run. I think that's going to be the title today. Let your profits run. It's such a fallacy. Of people think, well, I'm going to buy this thing. I bought it at €4 and it's trading at €35 and I'm not selling it. And it's like, why aren't you selling it and diversifying a little bit? Like, sell a third of it and have 2/3 of it. And do you really think that everything that everybody buys is going to go to the moon? Is it going to go up so big? Is everything a NVDA? No. Look at Intel. The chairman and the vice chairman of Intel, the computer chip company, it's been moved out of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. NVDA is in there now. The chairman and I think the operating officer both resigned yesterday. It's the first time I think they lost money since 1966 or some crazy number like that. It's like they haven't lost money in 40, 50 years or something like that. And now they're losing money. And I think it was the COO or the CFO, whichever one resigned besides the chairman, had been pushing and lobbying for the federal government here in the United States to create a chip fund. And they did. The Democrats, they love to tax the people and give free money out to people that they like. I know that Mr. Musk didn't get any because they don't like him. But, the other companies did. Matter of fact, they even gave $1 billion to a Chinese chip company. Wouldn't you in Europe or somewhere else like Malaysia or Japan or, Australia or New Zealand, or I can keep on naming places, we could go into India. Wouldn't you mind the United States just sending you $1 billion? Here's $1 billion. No problem. Easy peasy. We just take it from our working population, no problem. So, We just tax them. And that's exactly what we're seeing, this massive change. We're going back to the Constitution and the laws. You in France, you're seeing it. Tomorrow morning, you may not have a government. It may be totally collapsed at this point. We'll see. In other words, I just don't see any socialist country successful. I mean, matter of fact, there was this talk, in Asia this morning. We were seeing this talk going on in Asia about the idea. Matter of fact, let's throw the yen up there because of that talk. Let's see what the yen looks like this morning. Where's that? Let's open that up at the same time. I guess like 3 or 4 Asian countries were saying, forget it. You can't dump what you can't sell in America to China. That's what they were telling them. They were saying, no, we're going to charge tariffs too. You keep on dumping this stuff. You keep on destroying jobs in our countries because you have slave labor. No, it doesn't work that way. You can't have slave labor and then, pay them pennies and then just take in the cash. It seems like all the CCP, the communist, the control and command part, of the Communist Party that runs China just wants to make money. They're making money. That's the weird part. They're making money. And then you have ghost cities and things like that where they knock them down, build them back up again, and they're creating enormous debt. They have $1 trillion sitting here. I said that yesterday. You got $1 trillion sitting in America. Pull a little bit out and use it to help your people. Stop buying American bonds. We'll survive. Americans will buy American bonds. We control the most American bonds of all anyway. So what's the difference? It means that basically they're hiding money from their people. That's what when they have that $1 trillion sitting here, they're hiding that money from their people. That's all they're doing. All right, let's take a look at... I want to take a look at Tokyo right off this morning. Let's see what they're doing over there. It looks like a little bounce going on, but nothing major. Let's put it up on the screen. Yeah, you see that right there? It's just kind of quiet. It's giving us a little volatility signal. It's been in a sell, so it's been gaining against the dollar. They know it's a new dawn on Earth. It's like, it's a new day. They know that things are going to get better economically because our socialists have been pushed out of office and they're going to leave all the control systems, how they control government, they're going to all disappear. And that's the, we haven't seen something like this in 120 some odd years. I talk about it here. People, hear me talk about it. But this is a whole new day. This is a whole new dawn. And if anybody can tell me a good place that is run by social Marxists, communists, socialists, so forth, let me know. Because I can't find one. And so, just point it out and I'll be like, cool, let's take a look at that. And we'll see how successful they are, where they derive their money, what their CPI is, what their PPI is, what their GDP is. We'll take a look at their currency. We'll see their interest rates versus inflation. I am so glad to look under the hood, kick the tires. I am so happy to point out America's faults. I have no problem whatsoever. Hence why most of my charts, if not all my charts, are always what I like to refer to as Eurocentric. In other words, when you look at the euro, like right there, you see we're looking at the euro dollar pairs trade. So in other words, when it's going down, the euro is losing. When the chart is going up, euro is winning. That means it's Eurocentric, not American. It's not like I'm looking at it like an American. I'm looking at it like somebody that lives in Europe. It deals with, has to use the euro every day. And that is really my free market, free people attitude about it forever and ever. For over 50 years, I've been that way. I've been like that forever and ever. All right. Let's go to, since we just looked at the euro, let's take a look at the great British pound and see how that looks. And you see the same situation here. You can see, we know there are over 3 million votes. I can't wait to see the debate. That's going to be a blast. I mean, that is going to be a blast. What is that up there? What am I looking at? Oh, that's the actual arrow. I thought, what is that? Let's see if we can fix this. There we go. That was the arrow. So the arrow had that little red dot up there. It was like, what is that? Um, yeah, I think it's going to be a blast. Tomorrow maybe the opening shot of throwing out the social Marxists out of France by just collapsing the government and just bringing back the rule of law, law and order, and freer people and less controlled people by a government that is going nowhere. All right. You can see we're a second day in a cell. Let me put the little green line in there if you can't see it right there. We went into the cell yesterday, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. Notice that? Whereas in the euro, right there, it's doing even more, showing even better strength from the little cell. Let's grab this cell right there, move it over like that. Went into the cell yesterday and was trying to lift its head up a little bit. Now, we've been in this long weekly sell in both the euro and right there, the British pound. You can see that, both of them. You can see the pressure on it, and it's keeps on showing that weakness, and we're not really too excited one way or the other. We keep on thinking that we're going to see a lot better. Let's say that we're going to see a lot better. We think that we really see this as historic, but since the medias themselves are not really free, we're really not seeing the true information anymore. In other words, facts. And we'll keep on watching. We'll keep on seeing, see what's going on. It just seems like it's not really changing that much, but we'll see. We can say, when we look at the energies, we can jump over to the energies real quick. Let's do that. Let's take a look at crude oil. Oh, yeah. I didn't even talk about the pardon. That was the weirdest thing of all. Maybe I did talk about the pardon yesterday, but it was the weirdest thing. And I understand that the Justice Department has in it like an attorney general, somebody that's supposed to look at everything they pass and say, oh, this is legal, this is not legal. And the attorney general said, no, I don't think this musters. So all of a sudden, I guess he wants to keep his job. I think that's what it comes down to. He wants to keep his job. So all of a sudden he's saying, I'm not sure this is, we're not ready to approve this. President Biden has suggested it, but we're not ready to approve it yet. Now, here is crude oil. You can see they're popping it up this morning. Yesterday, they took it down a little bit. Nothing major. It was up most of the morning. It had like a green arrow at one point. And you can see the weekly is trying to generate, they're trying to do something here. There was some talk because Mr. Trump is able to negotiate with, Mr. Putin and Mr. Zelensky in Ukraine and Russia. There's talk that when they start drilling, as soon as Mr. Trump gets in, within hours, there'll be drilling going on, and the world inventory in oil will expand. It'll expand fast too. You're talking about it'll go up like I don't know. 500,000 barrels in probably like a week or two, and the next thing you know, it'll be like 1 million barrels, and the next thing you know, it'll be 3 million barrels, and maybe 5 million barrels. Before you know it, within 9 months, there's going to be a lot more oil in the world market. See, one of the problems when you're irresponsible as a government and you spend more than you have, and so then you have to raise taxes, and then your income gets knocked down by a country that actually has free markets and free people, and they don't have a dictatorship or a command and control economy type of thing going on. The next thing you know is that they can't afford to stop selling what they've been selling. They have to keep on selling what they sell, and they keep on have to hope that they can increase their inventory because the price has been dropping. Just like when I did mention yesterday, when Mr. Trump was in government last time, he drove the price of oil down to $39 minus. Yes, minus. Like interest rates. The way Europe kept interest rates at a minus for a long while. So that is the answer to that. All right, now let's take a look at the Swiss. Let's see how the Swiss are looking this morning. And there's Swiss. And I see, we went into a daily buy there yesterday. Unfortunately, people are more used to. I'm not happy about it, but we in the United States do it the reverse way, which makes it very odd. And that is that we look at dollar Swiss. That's the more important pairs trade. And so you can see right there, and it's strong, which means that it's still weak. You see, as it rises, it loses against the dollar. You can see here, we've been in a long weekly buy now for a while. It's been sitting there like that. And remember, traders, this every week changes. It can be, still, you can see here because of the way the green line is way over this, what we refer to as our nonlinear manifold, and its mirror image, the two yellow lines. How the green line and the green line is a slow algorithm, and the blue is a fast algorithm of the same math, just defined in a second standard deviation versus a first. And then there's the zero line right there, all those little dotted lines, and then the histogram is a 1 standard deviation, and the green line is a 2 standard deviation. So it's our way of a Bollinger type of concept, a John Bollinger Band type thing. And when we do throw, since I'm mentioning that, if we throw the Bollinger Bands up on the screen, let's see, insert a study, and we'll put John's work in there. There's right there. And we'll make them fatter so you can see them. Let's see, scaling, properties. Is it property scaling? Style, that's what it's style. Let's go like this. We'll get rid of the data, but we will make the weight larger. And that one. So we can show you a difference between how more accurate our way of doing it is. Oh, you know what I should do is I should lock that like that. There we go. So you can see here, maybe we'll go like this. We'll change the background a little bit, like a little bit lighter, like that. So you can see, and I guess we'll get rid of that darkness because it doesn't matter anymore. It was something we were emphasizing at the time. Let's see, how do we get... let's do this, cancel. Let's just get rid of the box altogether. There we go. And so you can see, matter of fact, you can see here the Bollinger Band, how it was riding here. And it started here, but notice we got the weekly buy right there. And once we got into that weekly buy, we knew that it was going to ride the Bollinger Band. The standard deviation was going to keep on carrying because you can see the strength in it here. You see the green line well over the manifold. Just like when it's down below, way below. Notice as we move this over a little bit, you see how when we went into the weekly sell right there, and let's see, okay. When we went into that cell right there, there we go. When we went into the cell there, the Bollinger Band was being challenged on the red. Let's get rid of that at this point. That's just a support line that we look at someone does a webinar around here on supports and resistances, and we were looking at them and having a conversation about them, and it was kind of fun, you know. And so you can see here, we go into the weekly sell right there, and the Bollinger Band is being challenged, and you're wondering, oh, is it going to go climb, bounce up, bounce back up, you know, going to go challenge the blue? Our math is telling us no, 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 it's not going to happen, and it doesn't happen. That's a way of reading our math. You know, there's a lot of math on there that's very successful, keeping us on the honest side. Just wild times as usual, I guess you could say. You know, the accuracy of our math, and then you can see how it tightens up the Bollinger Band here, and you don't know if it's going to go on forever and ever, or if it's going to go off after the blue. We go into the weekly buy right here, and so now we're bullish, and our math keeps on telling us to stay bullish. It goes on and on and on. And now you can see the fast is broken down for the first time in, I don't know, a couple months, since the end of September, beginning of October. We're starting to make a move on the fast. It's broken the manifold, and we can see the the slow still hovering above the manifold. As long as it does that, it's going to basically hang out, and it's going to probably bounce between this range. And that's why when we look at support and resistance, we use all this to calculate this, you know, to be able to have a good understanding. That's why we can be so accurate and be comfortable doing webinars constantly, that type of thing. So what else can we say about any of that? I guess that basically describes it. If anybody would like to look at anything through our eyes, let us know. Let us know. All right, now from there, let's see. Let's take a look at that's we looked at the yen. And the yen, let's see, where's the yen? Let me just double check. We did the yen a few seconds ago because we see a rebellion going on with the Asian countries saying, you're not going to dump what you can't dump in America here. And so I guess the command control people's government is going to have some problems there. They're going to have to figure it out. If they think war is the answer, trust me, it's not. It is not the answer. Now, from here, we go to Turkey. The great experiment. It really, it's nice that it seems to have locked in for a while now, really, between the 38 and 36 area. We did have a spike up to 40 for somebody panicking, trying to get in or out of whatever they had to get out of. But overall, that's just a sign of the illiquidity. So I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday. I saw a story about the bazaar in Constantinople or somewhere around there, where they were freaked out. Someone was passing around using illegal, what do they call it? I did mention it because I had the same problem. Counterfeit $50 bills and $100 bills. And so it really disturbed the whole country because of that. They all got nervous. And, what's that tell you? You're using somebody else's currency and you're not even sure if it's the real thing. You see here, we went into the sell again. I'm really happy that it seems to have quieted down. That's good. I mean, under the Biden years, it's gotten ugly. The last 4 years, the Turkish lira, let's see if we can go back to 2020. Let's see what 2000, since Mr. Biden has taken control of the country here and the global, remember, America is the engine, and there's 22. And so since, Mr. Aragon, former prime minister, now president, and Mr. Biden seem to have governed about the same ways, you can see, he tried using the central bank's money and bankrupted the what do they call that? Not a national fund, but a sovereign fund. They wiped that out. His son-in-law was in charge of that, and that thing's empty. And so the poor currency has gone from 10 gone up 4 times in value from 10 to 20, 20 to 40. It's like, wow. Or, from 10 to 40. Take your choice, however you want to look at it. Either way, none of it is good for the population of Turkey. But it seems to be doing okay for the leadership of Turkey, obviously, because they don't seem to want to change anything. So it's really nice that we see the Turkish lira stalled. And I understand that the currency that will not be named is traded as high as $1.14 now to the ruble to the dollar. $1.14 now. I remember when their CCCP, their command and control economy, it was 4 ruble, just like it's 7 won to the dollar in China. These command and control hold and fix their currencies, but look at it today. 114. Imagine if you were a Russian or a Russian Federation person and only kept your money in dollars all this time, and not the Russian ruble, and only converting it when you needed to. Boy, you don't even have to invest. You're investing in bad government. That the government is so bad that the currency is going to do poorly, and so you keep as much assets as possible always in dollars, and then or gold or euro or whatever, and that when you need rubles, you buy them, and one day you're buying with $1, you're getting 4 of them, and then another day you find yourself getting 7 of them, and then it's like 13 of them, and here you got $1. You didn't have to guess on what to invest in. You just stay. The guess is that that your government is not very good at what they do, and it's only going to kill the currency as time goes on. And I guess that's the same thing with, unfortunately, for the Turkish lira. It's having a CCCP moment where it was locked around 1 to the dollar and 1 to the euro. Then it got the 2. And Mr. Biden comes in, and now you have 2 like-minded people. You have Joe the monkey, President Biden, and then you have the great experimenter, the former prime minister, now president, and the currency goes from 1 to 40. What can you say about like I said, tomorrow is going to be a live laboratory in Europe. It's called France. And you're going to see what irresponsible government does. They passed a budget illegally and refused to change it because they can't let the people have control over their own lives. All right, from there we're going to go flying down to South Africa, the land that was destroyed by the illegal immigrants. All right, that's what apartheid was all about. Give illegal immigrants a half a vote. That's what it was all about, nothing more than that. Or Zulus or white people, one or the other. You take your choice. Is the Zulus white? Are they European? Or are they African? I'll leave that with you for a little thought experiment. All right, now you can see here it's kind of locked in a sideways action. The coalition government down there is having its, I don't know, maybe it's doing better. You got to figure that before the election, the poor currency was all the way up into the playing with the 20s. It was playing with 20 and 21, I guess it was, or 20 and change, right around there. What's that high right there? That high there is 1939. There's a 20 somewhere. I seen it. Right there. There's a 1964, and when is that? That is last October, so it's about a year ago, and somewhere else out there. I think this is when Zumba was out murdering people. I think that's what that was. That's the president of or was it when they found $500,000 or $1 million in cash in the president's office? Something like that. It's always politics down there. There's always some type of confusion. They're always playing games, trying to, do that CCCP thing. ANC is a Marxist organization, so, they're having a hard time now with a coalition government to have any too much crazy go on. But you can see, the currency itself is much lower than that almost 20 area, and that's a lot better. And you can see it's played its way down to the 17 area here, which is, that's a pretty good move when you think about it. It comes down from 1988 or 89, or basically 20, and falls down to 17, a little underneath that, the 1690 something. That's a good move. That's a 1.5-2% move. Is that what that is, or is it a 15% move? Let me think. A 10% move would have been 1, so it dropped 3, and that'd be, yeah. So it's like a 7% drop. So that's inflation, and minus inflation. When your currency gains strength like that, it means that you can buy more things with less of them, and that's pretty cool. That's not inflation compared to inflation. All right, and as we've shown you, since the perception of we don't beat up on everybody, we just beat up on people who take their currency and fling it into the mud, make it do bad things and hurt the population. So we saw under Mr. Mandela, we saw the first ANC government, we saw the currency go 2 to 6. And then the next government took it from 6 to 13, with the ANC again ruling. And then the next government took it from 13 to, I guess it was like 18 or something like that. It was like 6 up or 5.5 up. So it got up to like 18 or 19. And then when I think it was Zumba. No, let's see. He was the one that can't come back into the country. He still has a party in South Africa, but he can't be. He's wanted for murder. But the next president after him, they found $500,000 in cash, or $750,000 in cash in his office. I don't think his salary is that big, so there was definitely an issue there, and that freaked out the country again. So let's take a look at what the South African government produces the most of: gold, metals. So let's take a look at gold this morning. And there is gold. There's the February contract in the United States. You can see it's in a buy for 4 days now. But we're still hanging out in that sell right there. And you would think that gold would be higher even with the South African rand going sideways, solely because they keep on talking about nuclear war, World War III, World War III, World War III. We hear this over and over and over and over again. But, especially when it's in the center of Europe, you would think you guys would be totally paranoid, and and good reason to want to buy gold versus other things. From there, we zip the DocDow over to silver, and silver showing some strength, 3 days in a buy. But again, you can see we've been in the weekly sell since up in here in the 33, 34ish area, and you can see it's been rolling over, rolling with the homies. And you can see that pressure on that. And then we zip over to copper. And we always think we're looking at China, really, when we look at copper. That's what the little circly thing is there for the election. That is when the election occurred. It went a little wilder than usual, and they sold it down. And now they're not sure where to go and what to do, but it is in a buy. Oh, actually, look at that. It fell into the sell yesterday. Okay, there it is. So we got a sell there, and now we have an attempt to go back into the buy again. That's all. But again, the people who watch these webinars know that as long as we're in a weekly sell, you don't try to buy this. You don't try to buy it. You didn't try to buy this either. You only play the short side because we're in weekly sells. Like there, you would play not the buy there because we're in a weekly sell. You'd play only the short right there. And you can see that is usually a winner chicken dinner. Okay, from there we'll go over to platinum, which we like to refer to as, and I make little nicknames up too. I've always done that. And you can see here is the most dangerous short in the world, and that is the platinum product. It's used to trade over the price of gold always. And then when quantitative easing started, we've explained many times why this has occurred. And we can explain it again. If someone wants to know, you just chat in to see if the chat line's even working. People don't even say hi anymore. There you go. Hi. That was me. Um, we can see the platinum itself is trying to lift up. It's showing some strength. 3 days in a buy, but the weekly is having its issues. But notice the fast has leaped across the zero line right there. Now it's the reason it's a fast because it's it's a lot lower in the average, because this is an average of our mathematics. So you can see here, it's starting to show some life here, and it's starting to even go up, like the last time. It got through at the same time with the slow, and obviously we had some nice strength. We went into a buy. It stayed in the buy all the way up into here, and now we're in the sell. And maybe we'll start to get a bounce. I don't know. I would think, when I say I don't know, we follow the math. Follow the math. That's what we do. Let it do. I can tell you many cute little stories, but I don't know how accurate they're going to be. In the end result, they could be fascinating. But again, we follow the math, like following CPI and PPI and inflation and GDP, and then how much people are exporting and importing. All the fundamentals still we pay attention to, and they have become more important. They're going to become more important again. And one of our former friends here, Janos, had a great couple of videos. I wish he never deleted them, about trying to trade QE markets. He was so right about it. I really wish he hadn't deleted them over time. Maybe they're up. I said to him, go see if they're in YouTube somewhere. You would know what the buzzword would be. All right, so that does the metals. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shift over to Brent oil. We'll go look at the energies. We already looked at West Texas looking very, very firm this morning. So we'd have to assume that Brent North Sea oil is probably looking just as firm. So we'll slide over to that. The consul's saying they're going to they should deny Hunter Biden's pardon. Interesting. Okay, so see, the president needs to. I heard somebody call him the Emperor of Ukraine yesterday in the financial markets. They said, and the Emperor of Ukraine, Joe Biden, back in 2014. Maybe that's why Mr. Putin invaded more of the Ukraine solely because, or invaded Crimea first, and then when he had Jojo the monkey as president, he didn't know what they're going to come up with next. And then Hillary Clinton, we've already seen what she did to Libya and so forth. So you just never know. They probably figured, Trump's not going to win. Let's get in there before all that stuff happens. But you can see here, Brent is up today compared to yesterday. Oh, that's yesterday still, isn't it? No, that's there you go. That was yesterday. That's today, and it's lifting up just the same way. You can see it's got on the algorithm right there. You see it's been plus for 3 days since last Friday. So it's been trying to lift up, even with it trying to slide down. And you can see our green is busted through the line, the manifold right there, and you can see the histogram is plus and so forth. And so they're trying to buy it. They got to do something. All right, and then we'll go back to, there is January crude in Texas. Same situation, jumping up, be jumping, it be jumping, climbing and lifting. Yes, it does. And there is crude oil and the United States. And then let's take a look at nat gas right there. Nat gas is interesting. It's dropping in price, but it's trying to lift its head up. In other words, the daily algorithm is firm. I guess more, for a couple of days here, they're thinking, it's pretty high up. It's in the threes, $3.50 or $3.65. We've seen that thing get as low during the summertime as $2 this last summer, And so you can see here, that's just when it did that. Would you believe Mr. Biden, the former emperor of Ukraine, now president of the United States, outlawed selling natural gas to Europe? Let me say that one more time. The president of the United States, when natural gas fell to $2 a cubic foot, metric, whatever you're measuring in, but it was 2, he outlawed selling Europe natural gas. I understand ships are loaded with it right now and just orbiting Europe. And the moment Mr. Trump comes in, that moment he's going to sign a release and knock out that executive order. It wasn't passed by the Congress, I can tell you that. It was an executive order to do it. And so it's going to be like you're going to have natural gas, cheap natural gas, starting in January 21st. It'll be right there. And I bet there are ships marching there right now as we speak. And they're going to just orbit and wait. And then they're just going to be pulling in like a mad buying spree in reverse. Dumping their natural gas to Europe. And let's see if it brings down the prices in the dead of winter. All right, and you can see here, it is interesting. It's trying to move down. We're going to throw this up on the screen because we got those green dots in there. It slid down, and then you had a little spike up and back down again, and today it's even at a low again. And then you can see on the algorithm, it recognized it. It picked up on that action right there. But what's keeping you safe, traders? There it is for the last 3 days. And what's keeping you safe? The weekly. The weekly don't care. It says, nah, no way. We know what's going to happen in a couple months. Not even 6.5 weeks from now. We know what's going to happen. And so it's dropping hard underneath. And that's why we use, the two of them have to be connected, in the same direction to want to recommend a naked long or short. Versus a derivative, with binaries or options and so forth. All right. No, we don't need that. Let's see. Let's go to, from natural gas, we'll see what the world uses. The number one product produced, I guess you could say, as a liquid for fuel for machines across the planet. And that is the heating oil. We call it heating oil, HO. We also call it kerosene. We call it diesel. We call them all these cute little names just for taxation. And so you can see it dropping down, and it's been in a sell for days. It was in a sell last week. It's trying to pick up with, like the way crude and Brent are. They're trying to flirt with the weekly buy. We'll see how long that lasts. And that is the magic of the math with the energies. Now we'll just take a quick ride over to Spain and look at that energy company down there just to try to get a feel what Europeans are going through price-wise. Since Janos was talking about it like, hey, maybe they could start an energy contract. They couldn't even start an energy contract. Something as simple as that. I can't even go and look at a specific energy contract. All the politicians must control all the energy companies, so they don't want anybody to interfere with their profits. All right, and you can see here it's moving down. It had lifted up a little bit there. There was the election right there, and it dropped down, and they did the bounce because of the cold weather. Europe is going through enormously cold weather, so they got to use some of this stuff for something. But you can see the company is trying to roll over again. Let's go take a look at the full screen. And you can see now the weekly, this is even more interesting. They climbed into the buy a week ago, and now it's pushing back into the sell again. So they're not very comfortable with the idea that this thing is really going up. We're glad to see it down. Obviously we would rather see companies make money, but I would rather see Europeans not freeze to death. All right, where else are we at this point? Let's go to, let's take a look at some of the world markets. World markets, yes. There we are. There we go. World markets, Doc. Yeah, okay, let's look at the world markets. Let's take a look at. I think we did look at Tokyo. No, we looked at the currency in Tokyo. So let's take a look at the Nikkei and see what they're doing this morning. Give it a refresh. Lifting up. I guess they're starting to see the same thing we're seeing. We're seeing their currency gain against the dollar for the last couple of weeks, and we're seeing strength in the stock market there. You can see it's in a weekly buy. Now let's go see how the CCCP is doing, or CCP. See what they're up to this morning. There it is. They're doing the same thing. It's 5 days in a buy, climbing into a weekly buy after a couple weeks in a sell where it slid down. They must be, tasting that sugar high coming around the corner. They say, the command and control economy directorates tell us that they want to stimulate their economy. I would say the best way for us to know when they're stimulating the economy, we start to see the amount of bonds that they own in the United States. They start selling them and bringing some of that money home to help themselves. That's what I say. You got to imagine they keep it parked here for only one reason, and that is that they have to try to keep the trade balance look like they're doing something right. Because owning American bonds makes the trade balance look a little bit better for them, when in fact it's just money. It's not goods and services. All right, from there, let's go see the chip capital of the world. Right there, Taiwan. Look at that. The last couple of days, they're really jacking that. And it's jumped into a weekly buy, too. So they're doing both there. There's some strength kicking out there. Let's check out Hong Kong. There's the Hang Seng. You see that? 5 days in a buy? Yeah. And it's trying to get into the weekly buy there also. There must be another, maybe they're going to plow in another trillion won, which is about 100 billion, was that 700 million, is it? Let's see. There's 7 won to the dollar. So if they kick in a trillion won, they've been doing 1.4 trillion. That is equal to, what is that, $150 billion. So if they kick in like $100 billion somewhere, they might, maybe the Communist Party is going to start giving back some of the money they keep. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Only the markets know in the end, and our math is usually ahead of the market or with the market. So, it's nice to have a better idea, and you can see there's some strength trying to come in at the moment. Wonder if there's like a hope and a dream, that one day there isn't a command and control economy. Maybe we're seeing some of that, but I would imagine everything is so overpriced that I can't imagine any smart money manager wanting to put money there at the moment. And that's what we're really hearing now, is that they're all running like, the problem is it's the cockroach hotel. You can invest, but you can't get your money out of the country. You can only put it in it. Let's take a look at South Korea. There's the Kospi. Last couple of days, they got hit with that that powerful snowstorm. It's just Mother Nature being Mother Nature. And so you can see here it's trying to lift up also today. And it's flirting with the weekly buy after, 7 weeks in a sell, 8 weeks in a sell, something like that. So, look at that. It's popping up now. And you can see it's still in the sell here. We'll see if they get their act together. All right, I got to come up with a title today. So I had it, free market, free people. What was I talking about at the beginning? I really dislike the idea of command and control economies. Free markets versus command control. Here you go. There we go. All right, traders, this is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow, same time, same channel. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you and to all our trading friends. Later, later, traders. Catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Happy the Hump Day. It'll be Wednesday. Ta-ta for now.